My heart was a drum against my ribs. It was my very first day. The space station, which they called the Spindle, was a city floating in the endless night. It was bigger than anything I had ever seen. Stars glittered outside the viewport, cold and beautiful. I was here to be a hull technician. I was here to fix things. But right now, all I felt was a mix of excitement and deep, shivering fear. I was the only human on this crew. Everyone else was from a different world, a different star system. I wondered if I had made a terrible mistake coming all this way. The journey here was long, but this first step into the ready room felt even longer. The air smelled of ozone and something else, something metallic and strange. My suit was a second skin, heavy and unfamiliar. Inside my helmet, a soft voice translated everything. It was the only reason I could understand the clicks, whistles, and deep rumbles of my new teammates. This suit was our bridge. It connected us all. Without it, we would just be a room full of strangers making noise. With it, we were supposed to be a team, but the technology felt like a thin shield. It translated words, but it couldn't translate the feeling of being completely and utterly alone in a crowd. I tried to smile at a tall, insect-like being, but my face was hidden behind my visor. The team leader, a being named Galactic, whose voice sounded like rocks grinding together, gave the briefing. A micrometeoroid shower had hit Sector Gamma 7. The outer hull was damaged. We had to go out there and patch it up before the next orbital pass. My stomach twisted into a knot. My first day, and we were doing an external repair. I had trained for this in simulations, of course, but simulations didn't have the vast, terrifying emptiness of real space just a few inches away. The other technicians checked their equipment with practiced ease. Their movements were sure and quick. I felt like a child wearing his father's boots. I fumbled with my own tool belt. The magnetic clamps, the plasma welders, the sealant applicators. They all felt alien in my gloved hands. I had studied the manuals for weeks. I had memorized every schematic, but theory is a gentle thing. Reality is hard and unforgiving. I dropped a hydro spanner and it clanged loudly on the metal floor. A few of the others turned. I could hear a series of clicks and chirps through my translator, which it identified as laughter. My face burned with shame. I was the new one, the clumsy one, the one who didn't belong. The weight of their judgment felt heavier than the suit itself. We moved to the airlock, a silent procession of armored figures. The outer door hissed open, revealing the breathtaking and horrifying beauty of space. The spindle was a silver thread against a blanket of black velvet, with the curve of a distant blue planet below. We stepped out, tethering ourselves to the station's hull. My boots magnetized with a solid clunk. For a moment I was just a tourist, amazed by the view. But then, the work began. Gurax pointed with a four-fingered hand toward a series of deep rents in the metal plates. The damage was worse than I thought. It looked like a giant had clawed at the station's skin. The team split up, each member going to a different damaged section. They moved with a grace that defied their bulky suits. They were like dancers in zero gravity. I was assigned to a smaller puncture, a simple patch and seal job. It should have been easy, but my hands were shaking. The tools felt slippery. A large reptilian crewmate named Slith glided past me. His voice came through my translator, sharp and mocking. "Try not to float away, little mammal," he hissed. "We don't have time to chase you." Another crewmate, a being made of crystalline facets, chimed in with a series of high-pitched tones. The translator said, "His movements are inefficient." The feeling of isolation was a cold weight in my chest. I was surrounded by others, but I had never felt more alone. They communicated with each other in short, efficient bursts that I struggled to follow. They knew the procedures by heart. They knew where every tool was. I felt like I was moving through thick mud while they were gliding on ice. I tried to use the plasma welder, but I set the temperature too high. A warning light flashed on my helmet display. I quickly shut it down, my heart pounding. No one said anything, but I could feel their silent judgment. I was slowing them down. I was a liability. Then, a gentle presence floated beside me. It was a being called Xylo. Xylo was tall and slender, with long, willowy limbs and large, kind eyes that glowed with a soft blue light. Their species didn't have a mouth, so they spoke entirely through the suit's translator, but their voice was warm and calm. "The induction flow on that model can be tricky," Xylo said, their voice a soothing melody in my ear. "You have to prime the catalyst first. Here, let me show you." Xylo didn't laugh. They didn't mock. They just offered help. A simple act of kindness in the cold, uncaring void of space. Xylo's gloved hand gently guided mine. They pointed to a small glowing dial on the side of the welder that I had completely missed in my panic. "Adjust this to the green marker," Xylo explained patiently. "It will stabilize the plasma stream." I followed their instructions and the tool hummed to life, steady and perfect. I looked at Xylo, trying to convey my gratitude through the thick visor of my helmet. They seemed to understand, giving a slow, deliberate nod. It was a small gesture, but it felt like a lifeline. I managed to apply the first patch correctly, my confidence growing just a little bit. As we worked, Slith floated over again. "Is the small one still playing with his toys?" he sneered through the comms. "Maybe we should give him a rattle." Before I could even feel the sting of the insult, Xylo responded. Their voice was still calm, but it had a new firmness. "He is learning. As we all did once. We are a team, Slith. We work together or we fail together." Slith made a dismissive sound but moved away without another word. Xylo had stood up for me. No one had ever done that for me out here. It was a shield against the mockery, and it meant the world. The real danger came suddenly. I was sealing the edge of a large metal plate when my tether snagged on a jagged piece of debris. I didn't notice it at first. As I pushed off to move to the next spot, the line snapped taut and then broke with a sickening ping. I was adrift. My suit's small thrusters fired automatically, but my panicked movement sent me spinning slowly away from the station. The spindle shrank before my eyes. Terror seized me. This was it. This was the nightmare every spacer feared. I was going to float away into the endless dark until my oxygen ran out. Just as despair began to set in, I saw a figure moving fast. It was Xylo. They had pushed off from the station with powerful controlled force, an emergency rescue line unspooling behind them. They moved with incredible speed and precision, intercepting my slow, clumsy tumble. A strong hand grabbed my arm, stopping my spin. "I have you," Xylo's voice said, calm and reassuring as ever, cutting through my panic. "Hold on, we are going back." They fired their suit's thrusters, and together we began the slow, careful journey back to the safety of the station hull. The trip back to the station felt like an eternity. Xylo never let go of my arm. Their grip was a solid, grounding presence in the terrifying emptiness. When my boot finally magnetized to the hull again, a wave of relief washed over me so powerful that my knees felt weak. I was safe. Xylo had saved my life. They didn't say "I told you so" or "be more careful." They simply checked my new tether, made sure it was secure, and then said, "Let's finish this patch together." And we did. We worked side by side, a silent, efficient team of two. The other crew members watched, but no one made any more jokes. When the job was finally done and we were back inside the pressurized corridor, I took off my helmet. The air was warm on my skin. I turned to Xylo, who had also removed their helmet. Their face was serene and smooth, the blue glow of their eyes soft and friendly. "Thank you," I said, my own voice sounding small and hoarse. "You saved me. More than once today." Xylo made a gesture with their long fingers, a sign that the translator told me meant, "It is what friends do." The word friends echoed in my mind. On my very worst day, I had made a friend. That evening in the mess hall, I sat alone at a table, pushing food around my plate. I still felt like an outsider. But then, Xylo glided over with their own tray and sat across from me. They initiated a private chat through our personal communicators. "The first cycle is always the hardest," their translated voice said in my ear. "It gets better. You will learn the tools, you will learn the rhythms of the station, and you will find your place here." Their simple encouragement was a balm on my frayed nerves. For the first time all day, I felt a flicker of hope. Looking at my new friend, I understood something important. Space wasn't just about advanced technology, strange new worlds, or facing cosmic dangers. It was about connection. It was about finding kindness in the most unexpected places. Teamwork wasn't just about efficiency. It was about having someone's back when a tether snaps. Courage wasn't about not being afraid. It was about doing the job even when you were terrified, knowing someone was there to help. I was still new, and I had much to learn. But I wasn't alone anymore, and that made all the difference in the galaxy.